Today I wanted to tell you the behind-the-scenes story of how I made my book, When Worship Wins, the tale of Jehoshaphat's praise. I wrote and illustrated this book out of a desire to teach children about the importance of worship. And there's really no greater story that I can think of but the tale of Jehoshaphat from the Old Testament. He was a king who really got it right when it came to dealing with the crisis situation. There were armies from different nations that were coming to attack his people all at one time. And often in the Old Testament, we see people messing up. We see them choosing to turn to their own methods to try to solve a problem, trying to bargain with the enemy. We see them turning to fear. And Jehoshaphat did not do that at all. He decided to trust God. He called the nation to a time of prayer and fasting. And through that time, he decided to put the priests at the front of the army as they were going to go march out and meet these unstoppable forces coming against them. And when the priests who were at the front, when they began to worship, it released the power of God to go and fight for them. And so by the time that this army from God's people met the opposing armies on the battlefield, they were already all defeated. All that God's people had to do was literally sing and trust Him and show up to the battlefield, and it was already done. And so this is just such a perfect picture of how God will fight our battles for us now in the present time. And so what I did was, since I couldn't find this story anywhere else, I decided to just kind of stick together some quick drawings at first. And I tied it together with a ribbon. I laminated it just kind of really cheaply. And the drawings, I didn't have as much time as I wanted to spend on them. And this was the first version of it. This was years ago. And we did it as a lesson for the kids at church. And we did it at this event. I shared it with some other people and they loved it. And they wanted to buy a copy. And I had no idea how to make that happen at that point. So that seemed ridiculous to me. And so it's interesting because this is actually the second book that I've published now, these years later, but I always wanted to come back to this book, the first book that I ever wrote and illustrated, because it was so special to me, and I love the rhyme scheme in it. I think that just makes it super fun and just engaging for kids to hear how the words kind of dance and float together. And then also just the message, because the church that we have been raised up in is just so passionate about worship. And so we wanted to instill that into our kids the same way that my mentor, Corey Curry, had instilled this message into me all those many years ago. So that is the story of the book. And there's actually many more stories to tell and bumps along the way of how long it took to get it published, how to put it into a digital format, how to figure out all the odds and ends in that. And then even, just roadblocks that we met when we were trying to release it, just with things going on in the world today. But God's story is still getting out there. He's not going to be stopped. This message is for everyone. And it just tells us to look to God and trust Him so that He can actually fight our battles for us. So this book is available on Amazon. The link is going to be down in the description of how you can go purchase it. Also, if you're local to the Riverside area, I have a few copies that you could purchase from me. And don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on the notifications, because this is going to be a space of just engaging passionately with God in different creative avenues. So if you love God, this is the place for you. And also if you want to learn how to grow in the gifts that He's given you, this is the place for you. So thank you so much. Blessings. God bless you all. And I hope that this story blesses you. And tell me down in the comments what battles God is going to fight for you in your life today.